to the PhD Mommy's Journey podcast with Bridgette Ojo,
an educator and scientific researcher who also happens to be your number one fan. This podcast is for millennial mommypreneurs who strive to be the best versions of themselves every single day. If you're a millennial mom interested in learning more about mindset, motherhood, and motivation, then this is the podcast for you.
Welcome back to the PhD Mommy's Journey podcast. I'm your host, Bridgette Ojo, and today we're going to do a deep dive into a rule that hits home in a big way. This comes from Dr. Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, and we are going to focus on rule number 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Now, y'all, this rule is, it is personal, because if you're anything like me, it's pretty easy to look outward and feel so overwhelmed by everything that needs fixing. I mean, let's talk about it. The world, society, the system, all of it. However, in his book, Dr. Peterson reminds us before we point fingers, we must take inventory of our own space. Not just our physical space, but our mental, emotional, and spiritual house too. Let's unpack what that means and why this principle changed my life. So here's the truth. Disorder breeds chaos. When your environment is chaotic, your mind is going to follow. And ladies, I've learned this the hard way. Trying to juggle motherhood, being in the Navy, finishing up my PhD, content creation, and healing all at once. There were seasons where I was so overwhelmed. I was overstimulated and I was undernourished. But guess what? I realized I had more control than I thought. Not over everything, but over my space, my routines, my attitude, and my intention. Now, I want to give you guys a side note. There's this book that really changed my life. It's called Make Your Bed by Admiral William H. McRaven. In it, he says, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But that line wrecked me in the best way. Because it reminded me that progress isn't about the grand gestures. It's about the smallest disciplines. It's about doing those boring, mundane things day in and day out. It's about doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. And that's how I've lived this past year, building one habit at a time. As a mom, as a sailor, as a student. As someone who has decided that I'm going to take radical responsibility for my life. So I started small, making my bed, writing down 30 things I was grateful for every single day, organizing my to-dos. That one small act, that bed, that gratitude list, it gave me a sense of order when everything else felt like it was falling apart. Make your bed, as the book says, because even if your day goes sideways, you've already started it with a win. And y'all, this is why Jordan Peterson's Rule 6 hits home so deeply for me. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Not because I'm perfect, but because I'm committed to becoming better. And that right there starts with me. Now, let's talk about something deeper, because what's behind that win is ownership. And ownership is a form of power. One of the most transformational concepts that I've embraced is what Jocko Willink calls extreme ownership. I remember reading the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and having this feeling like a gut check, right? And that's because once you take full ownership over your life, even the messy, unfair, hard stuff, you begin to shift from victim to victor. Now, this doesn't mean that you blame yourself. In fact, it means that you own the power to respond differently. Clean your room before you clean the world. Organize your life before you try to organize someone else's. Start with what's in front of you, and then you can change your outer world. Now, when you look at that concept, you'll notice that that's not weakness. That's actually wisdom. What this means is that I take responsibility for everything in my life, not just the stuff I like, not just when it's convenient, all of it, even the uncomfortable stuff. When I joined the Navy at 32, more about that in a completely different episode, I knew I had to leave behind old excuses. If I didn't like where my life was heading, it was up to me to change that. That meant setting standards for myself, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Even now, as I am preparing for further training, I remind myself daily, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's what we're taught in the Navy. That's what I teach myself as a mom. And that's also what I practice as a PhD candidate. And while discipline keeps you grounded, gratitude keeps you lifted. So let me tell you what's been my secret weapon or secret sauce. So for the past 2 years, I've written a daily list of 30 things that I'm grateful for every single day. I just open up the Notes app on my iPhone and I just list 1 through 30 things that I am grateful for. Even when I was in boot camp, we couldn't have our phones. So I remember just getting a piece of paper, like we had these notebooks, and I just listed down 30 things that I was grateful for every single day, and I've never stopped. So some days it's deep. Some days it's very simple, like, thanks, I woke up, hot coffee, quiet moment, my kids' laughter. Nothing fancy, no fancy format, no pressure, just plain consistency. But every day, it reminds me that I already have so much to be grateful for. It also reminds me that I'm not lacking, I'm building, I'm blessed. And here's the thing, order is not just about neatness. It's about choosing how you show up, especially when life is chaotic. I remember when I used to feel like nothing was working. Now I've started to realize how much things are actually working in my favor. Even those times when things were so hard, this list reminded me there is still good, there's still beauty, and there is still hope. So if you're listening, I've created a free 30-day goals and gratitude journal just for you. I will put the link in the show notes, and I want you to use it to build your own rhythm of order, reflection, and intention. I promise you, this practice changed how I saw the world. Now, again, I've been doing this every single day for the past 2 years, and it completely rewired my brain, and I want that for you too. And speaking of chaos, there's a mindset shift I want to share that helped me navigate some of my hardest moments as a mom who is also in the military. So let's be real for a minute. This episode wouldn't be authentic without a confession. So I am one of those people who overcompensates really, really badly. Being in the Navy, especially being away from my girls, working on a PhD, it's a lot. And sometimes, more than others, I try to make up for the guilt by giving more than I should. My daughters will call me and ask for Robux, say less. Late night Amazon orders that I probably shouldn't hit buy now on, guilty as charged. Constant check-ins, overthinking everything, trying to do the most, yep. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, pants, jacket, and scrunchie. But here's the thing I had to accept. Overcompensating isn't the same as showing up. Structure is what actually helps my girls. Consistency, boundaries, systems. Heavy on the systems because I thank God I have a support system that helps reinforce that structure. My family has stepped in while I've been away. My girls' school has provided extra care and stability during this transition from being civilian kids to military kids. However, integrating extreme ownership, it still starts with me. This all starts with how I lead myself, how I order my house inside and out. Trying to soften the blow of absence with gifts, it's not going to really do anything because I've learned that I don't need to buy their love. I need to become the version of myself that my girls can be proud of. And that means taking ownership of my guilt and transforming it into purpose. That means knowing that giving them a strong, empowered mom is one of the greatest gifts that I could offer. Now, in the Navy, we are taught from day one that we are warfighters. We have to prepare like our life depends on it because sometimes it does. The mindset that the Navy has is to stay ready so you never have to get ready. Now, I really love this concept because that's not just military talk, that's life talk. And I carry that mindset into my motherhood, into my finances, into my health, into how I study, how I lead, how I serve. I don't wait for crisis to start getting disciplined. I stay ready. I stay disciplined. However, I didn't get here alone. Let's talk about the people who helped me keep my house in order when I couldn't do it all myself. And as you all know, we are not meant to do life alone. Like I said before, I am beyond grateful for my family who stepped up to help with my girls while I've been in training. My girls' school, they have been so paramount in going above and beyond to support them. And I want y'all to know that having a support system isn't weakness at all. It's actually very smart. It's very helpful because it allows you to focus, rebuild, and lead from a place of strength instead of just surviving. And one thing that we have to remember is that we as creatures on this beautiful earth, our goal is not just to survive, right? It's actually to thrive. So if you're a mom, let's not romanticize doing it all alone because who wants to do life all alone? We are not meant to do that. My support system has been so crucial. And I say all that to say that you don't have to set your house in order all by yourself, but you do need to make sure that your house is in order before you try to clean the world's mess. And when you build that support, when you commit to your internal order, something so powerful begins to happen. You begin to live intentionally. You brush your teeth, even though they'll get dirty again. You shower, even though you'll sweat again. You make your bed, even though you'll sleep in it. Why? These are acts of self-respect, of preparation, of saying, I matter and my environment reflects that. Every small act of discipline adds to a life of meaning. Each daily choice becomes a brick in the foundation of your legacy. Peterson talks about not waiting for the perfect fix. Start small. Clean one drawer. Send one email. Answer one text. I like to call these 1% victories. My motto is be 1% better than you were yesterday. As you implement these 1% victories, they begin to add up. I love telling people the story of how when I first wanted to join the Navy and started losing weight, that I couldn't run a quarter of a mile, but I kept going. I walked faster. I ran longer, bit by bit, 1%. Eventually, I never stopped. Now I can run miles. Even though that might not mean much to some, to me, that's legacy work. That's proof that small actions create big wins. Now, as you're setting goals and as you're trying to become a better version of yourself, sometimes it can be easy to be blinded by the things that you desire. This is why discipline and structure truly matter. Your tools, your gifts, they need a purpose. Your goals, they need a playbook. It's not about being strict or militant. It's actually about guiding yourself towards greatness. I want to leave you with this thought. When we assume responsibility to aim high, not for clout, not for perfection, but for purpose, we stop living for superficial praise and we start building substantial legacy. When we dare to become better moms, better leaders, better women, we change the atmosphere around us. Just like Viktor Frankl taught us, even in the most dehumanizing moments of life, we still have the will to choose. That's our superpower. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to aim higher every single day. So, clean your room, make your bed, write your gratitude list, show up for your goals, and set your house in order because the world needs your light. Now listen, you already know what's not working. You already feel the anxiety when you walk into that cluttered room or open up your phone to 53 unread text messages or ignore that gut feeling. The question is, are you willing to fix it? Even just one thing today. Ask yourself, what's bothering me right now? Can I fix it? Would I actually fix it? Then fix it. Celebrate the win. Do it again tomorrow. Now, at the end of this rule, Peterson ends it with a call to responsibility. Not just for yourself, but again, for the world. When you choose to be better, your kids notice, your friends feel it, your community shifts. It's legacy work. It's hope work. It's the kind of life that says, I know this world is hard, but I'm going to do my part to make it a little better today. Even if it's just making your bed, or writing your gratitude list, or taking ownership of the mess in front of you, it matters. For the next 7 days, I have a challenge for you. It is called the 7-Day Order Reset. I want you to make your bed every single day for the next 7 days. I also want you to write 3 things you're grateful for. I want you to clean or fix one small thing. It could be your bathroom mirror. It could be the dishes in the sink. Just clean or fix one small thing. Also, I want you to speak life over your goals. These are simple, these are powerful, these are doable. Let's set our house in order together. So just remember, before you criticize the world, pause, look around. What can you fix right now? The overflowing sink, the ignored emails, the unspoken apology, the cluttered mind. Start there, not because you are broken, but because you are building. Start with your room, start with your body, start with your breath, start with your thoughts. Just start. And from there, the ripple grows. From better today comes better next week, next month, next year. That's how you build a future. Not from complaints, but from ownership, from order, from choosing to lead, even in the quiet. You've got this. Thank you again for tuning in to the PhD Mommy's Journey podcast. If today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, leave a review, or post your favorite takeaway on Instagram at the PhD Mommy Life. If you're interested in connecting, follow me on Instagram or TikTok. And don't forget to download your free Goals and Gratitude Journal linked in the show notes. Until next time, remember, your life responds to your leadership. So lead with purpose, lead with grace, and lead from within.